They finally did it. Let me introduce you to the 2023 Honda TransAlp XL 750, and we're starting it right now. The Honda TransAlp. Why has that name held such a mystique and such a nostalgic place in our minds forever? Originally released in 1986, it was one of the very first adventure bikes way back in the day, and it was a massive success back then. That's the bike that led into the original Africa Twin. My stepdad owned an original TransAlp many years ago, and up until he passed away, out of his 50 plus years of riding that he did throughout his life, probably more like 60, it was the only bike that he ever said he regretted selling. It was the perfect balance of power and ability. I am getting over a head cold. Much better today. The EICMA show in Milan is going on right now, and Honda has officially released the 2023 Honda TransAlp. It is an XL 750. It utilizes the Hornet 750 engine, the same parallel twin engine that is in the Hornet road bike. Here several weeks ago, they were talking about the Hornet and if that could possibly be the engine that's going to go into the TransAlp, and everybody was sort of considering that and guessing that they would detune it for adventure riding. It's the Hornet engine produces 92 horsepower and gobs of torque and all that stuff. So they were figuring they probably would detune it for an adventure bike, and I myself kind of thought that as well. No, they're not. The Honda TransAlp has a brake horsepower of 90.5 horsepower, and I'm reading this from the press release. It has a curb weight of 458 pounds. This little sucker is going to be faster and torquier than the Africa Twin. This is a off-the-cuff video because I want to get on this right now, since just found out about this morning that it has been officially released. The all-new 755cc parallel twin cylinder unit, shared with the new CB750 Hornet, produces 67.5 kilowatts top power and a strong helping of torque right through the rev range, peaking at 75 Newton meters. Again, this is an EU press release. Electronic rider aids run via throttle-by-wire and include 5 riding modes, 4 of which contain preset combinations of engine power, engine braking, ABS, and Honda selectable torque control, with integrated wheelie control. The 5th user mode allows the rider to fix their own preferred combination, which that is very important to me because that's what I do on my Twin all the time. I don't even use the other rider modes. The steel diamond frame is lightweight thanks to an optimization of wall pipe thickness and stiffness. Dual 2-piston calipers provide efficient stopping power, while the tires, which are 21-inch gold spoke, they're 90-90-21, and the rear is a 150-70-18, so it's the exact same wheels that are on the Twin. Front and rear deliver versatility on and off-road. It has a 5-inch TFT color display, which supplies vivid information delivery and management of all systems, as well as the connectivity of Honda smartphone voice control for Android and iOS devices. All lighting is LED. The indicators auto-cancel and also include emergency stop signal technology to warn other riders of sudden braking. There will be a range of accessories with this bike right out of the gate, including a quick shifter, soft and hard luggage. I wouldn't go for the luggage myself. I would, put giant loop stuff on it. Check my affiliate link in the description of this video to get to that website. The TransAlp will be available in 3 color options, including the tricolor, paying homage to the original XL600V, which was the original TransAlp, and that's basically they're calling it the Ross White tricolor, which is red, white, and blue. But it's white dominant, and then it's got red and white accents on it. Matte ballistic black metallic and matte iridium gray metallic. There is an 820 millimeter low seat available as an option, which would put it at about 32.5 inches standover. Fuel consumption offers a potential range of 390 km from the 16.9 liter fuel tank. Just like the Hornet, a 35 kilowatt A2 license option will also be available through a quick ECU remap at a Honda dealer. That one is more for the EU. Engine electronics. 4 default rider modes: Sport, Standard, Rain, and Gravel. There is a fifth one, which is fifth rider mode, which is user customizable. Chassis, it is a lightweight 18.3 kilogram steel diamond frame with integrated subframe. So that means if you bust your subframe, you're screwed. You'd have to weld on a new one, maybe. Showa 43mm forks and a ProLink rear shock, both spring preload adjustable. 2 piston front calipers, 310mm wave discs on the front, and a single piston caliper 256mm rear disc. It is a 21 front and an 18 rear wheels, gold spoke, and it uses the same size tires as the Africa Twin, which if you ride an Africa Twin, sometimes those rear tires are a little bit hard to come by, but more importantly, the tubes that go in the tires are really hard to come by, so you kind of have to make do. No, I'm actually the tire size, the 21-18 combo, very happy they did that. Very, very happy. You need that off-road. That 21-inch front really helps get over the larger rocks and the rougher stuff. I really wish they would have gone with a little bit not a smaller, I like the 18-inch rear, but I really wish they would have gone with a different size tire for that. Like maybe a one in the 140 range, you have a lot more tire options. You also have a lot more tube options. More importantly, I'm thinking more from an inner tube standpoint, because it sounds like it's not going to be tubeless. It sounds like it's going to be tubed tires. This bike has a wheelbase of 1,560 millimeters and a curb weight of 208 kilograms. Curb weight, that means this bike's ready to go. 208 kilograms. This bike is ready to go at 458 pounds. That's light. That is light for an adventure bike. The Africa Twin, I think, is like 490 or 495 before you put all the bars and all the crap on it. My bike's, walking around weight right now is, I think, 550 because I've got bars and everything and crap all over it. So I had to upgrade the suspension, not just for my own extra weight, right, but everything, all the farkles and everything that I put on it to protect it so it didn't turn into a recycled pop can whenever I drop it. Forks offer 200 millimeters of travel with spring preload adjustment and mount by a forged aluminum bottom yoke and cast aluminum top yoke. Those are the triple clamps, for a perfect balance of strength and rigidity in a wide-ranging riding situations. With 190 millimeters of travel, the remote reservoir Showa shock with adjustable preload operates through ProLink and the swing arm, which, while employing the same castings as the Africa Twin 1100, uses aluminum material exclusive to the TransAlp. Ground clearance is a claimed 210 millimeters, which is about 8 inches. We have gone through the EU press release for the 2023 Honda TransAlp XL 750. This bike sounds like quite the bike. It's lighter. It's going to have almost as much power as the Africa Twin, and because it's lighter with gobs of torque and horsepower, it's probably going to be quicker and maybe even faster than the tank of the Africa Twin. So one other thing that concerns me is they didn't mention that compression or rebound is going to be adjustable on the suspension at all, just preload. So that's kind of a bummer, but I would expect very shortly after this bike is officially released that there's going to be plenty of companies out there that are going to be releasing upgrades for this. To be able to do compression and rebound adjustments, it's not a modification to the existing suspension. You would actually have to replace the forks and the shock. And depending on how this bike has real-world performance, that might be worth it. I'm not going to replace my bread and butter Africa Twin with this bike because it is my forever bike. I have considered that my forever bike since the day that I bought it. I have other bikes that I would consider selling to fund getting one of these. My name is Travis. This has been an Explore Adventure Moto production. Stay hairy.